Hi everyone, and welcome to a 7-part marriage video series. In honor of National Marriage Week USA, I've decided to put together 7 videos. Each video will be shorter than 15 minutes and will be presented here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They will premiere and I will be available to chat, so I will be listening in as well. I decided to put this together to benefit and to support and uphold lifelong happy marriage. And if you'll check out their website, nationalmarriageweekusa.org, you will see many events taking place around the country. Perhaps there's something in your area. Perhaps there's something online that piques your curiosity. So let me share with you the 7 different topics that we will be presenting between February 7th and February 13th, 2023. On February 14th, I will not have a video, and instead I encourage you to have a date night. The first 2 videos are centered on one topic in my book, my latest book, Porn Free: How to Decrease the Demand for Pornography. So the first 2 videos will be on pornography, and I'll just do a quick rundown of the topics. February 7th, Part 1, How to Talk with a Spouse After Discovering a Porn Habit. February 8th, Part 2, Top 3 Secrets for Raising a Porn-Free Child. And then we go into other topics, because I don't think you're here to listen to a 7-part series on pornography. So now we will move into some other topics. Part 3, Listen, Don't Lecture: How to Get Your Spouse and Children to Open Up More. Part 4 on February 10th will be How to Deepen Your Friendship with Your Spouse. Part 5 on February 11th, 25 plus years: The 3 biggest challenges and what to do to create a thriving, not surviving relationship. February 12th is Part 6, How to Prevent Against Estrangement in Your Marriage. Part 7, the final part, will be on February 13th, The Golden Years of Marriage, Getting Ready to Retire. So welcome. If you're tuning in at 7 p.m., great. If not, the beauty of recording is that you can watch this at any time. Let's dive in to our first topic: how to talk with a spouse after discovering a pornography use. Although my book is about how to decrease the demand, I decided to add a few parts on how to deal with a situation when you discover. Now, the most important thing is not necessarily your communication skills and the conversation you're going to have because you're upset. A lot happens before you even have conversations or confront. Most of the time, spouses will discover to their great shock that their spouse has been partaking in a habitual porn habit, whether they're going to check the bills or the finances or something on the computer and they stumble across it. So what's likely to happen is a flooding like, oh my gosh, I thought we had a good marriage. I thought we had a good sex life. I had no idea. The people who use porn are dirty and strange, and oh, my spouse. So you might feel betrayed. You might feel just terrible. It's just a horrible place to be when you discover something to your complete shock. So you don't want to jump into a confrontation or a conversation right away. You want to cool off. You want to compose yourself. You want to lessen your anger and lessen those initial strong feelings. So before you even get ready to discuss the situation, and it should be discussed sooner rather than later, you want to compose yourself. So in my book, I have just a very brief section on one way you can approach how to talk to a spouse with a porn habit. So number 1, you want to have a heartfelt conversation. You want some honesty and some openness to take place. And this is not going to take place if you yourself are betrayed and hurt and angry and blaming. So like I said, you have to cool off before you even approach. That is the most important part, and you want to have a rapport, a give and take. You want to discover the depth of it. You want to discover maybe why it's happening, what need is it filling. So you want to be able to have your partner open up, because we know that with a porn habit there is secrecy, there's lying, there's covering up, there's rationalization, there could be shame, there could be guilt. And so it's a habit that the spouse is not likely to come to you and say, hey, I'm doing porn and I need help. Now, of course, that does happen, but more than likely, it gets discovered. And so that right there is a big bombshell that you need to maneuver through before you have the conversation. I would like to recommend Nonviolent Communication Technique by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. Please look it up. This could change your marriage, a way of talking and interacting with each other. I don't have time to go over it, but there's basically 4 pillars. You state an observation, you state your feelings, you state your need to your partner or to the person you're talking to, and then you make a request. And this kind of communication sort of takes it away from spiraling downhill in personal attacks. So it's a more peaceful way to communicate. So I encourage you to look up nonviolent communication and see if you can use those techniques in your conversation with your spouse, not only about the porn habit, but about other situations as well. The third point I'd like to make about having a conversation with your spouse when you discover a porn habit is that you want your partner to feel safe. Like I said, there's lies, there's deceit. It's just a habit that I don't think people want to persevere in this habit. They are getting something out of it. There is some benefit to it. So you want to have your partner feel safe. And you might not make progress in your communication, in your confrontation about the porn habit. So you have to know that your partner needs to feel safe and needs to trust you. And knowing that you won't fly off the handle and blame them, or that you'll run to relatives and friends and just say, I can't believe what my spouse is doing. Oh my gosh. There has to be safety, very important, as you're before you're talking about it, as you're talking about, as it goes on. Number 4, determine if pornography is a method of self-soothing or escape from life's difficulties. So you want to find out why this is going on, why it started maybe, how long it's been going on, and you just kind of want to get to the bottom of this habit. Is it an addiction? Do you need help? Would it be helpful for you to seek out a counselor or a program? There are many good programs out there on breaking free from pornography. Integrity Restored comes to mind. Just so many different organizations that can help you. You can Google and see what might be for you. You can take a look at traveling to another state for some type of program for you. So oftentimes you might want to bring a professional into the situation, depending on the depth of the problem, depending on how long it's been going on and how intense it is. Work on what is going to replace this porn habit. This porn habit has been doing something positive for your spouse. So how is it going to replace? What kind of habits or what kind of life moving forward are you going to have? Oftentimes, this can take weeks, months, or years to unravel and to regain the trust and the respect and just moving forward with the relationships. So it will need to be replaced with something positive that is going to work in the spouse's life. Oftentimes, the social media will change, the person's phone, the access and the 100% transparency between spouses. So things will probably have to be put into place to make changes. But we're talking about how to talk with a spouse with a porn habit. The really difficulties is that your partner will have many layers to unravel, and the layers are centered around their pain and their suffering and admitting. It's when people go into these secret habits and these secret addictions, they are stuffing down some pain, and that is what you can work on in your marriage, is you being your spouse's partner and number one advocate and supporter, because you love your spouse, you've got their back, and you want to help them through this. You don't want to criticize, you want to help. You don't want to lecture, you want to listen. So I hope that these little techniques and ideas have helped you. And if you should find your spouse doing a porn habit, you are not alone. You are not on the fringe. It is more common than you would think. Don't be afraid to bring it out into the light within your marriage. Not everybody. Within the two of you, do not be afraid to uncover everything that's going on related to this porn habit. I'll see you on part 2, where I'll talk about the top 3 things that you can do to raise a porn-free child in this 7-part series in honor of National Marriage Week USA 2023.